child support is kind of the same thing China does, okay, that we have in our country. China does a thing where you're only allowed to have one child. I have 3 children. So if you're in China and you're watching this, I have 3 children. So what they do is they allow the rich to have as many children as they want. There was a rich guy that went to my church at MacArthur Boulevard Baptist that had 10 children, but his wife didn't leave him. But he had 10 children. She gave him 10 children. It's a lot of children. And he is a millionaire. He has a lot of money because of those kids and because of the fact that he's very involved in Baptist churches. So there are men that have 10 children and they're part of the Baptist church, and they're usually millionaires. They usually end up getting that. I always said 8 is enough, but I think 10 is actually a good number. But nevertheless, child support is there the same reason why China only allows 1 child. It's there as a way to control procreation, unfortunately. So as long as, which, here's how it's going to work. There'll be another baby boom that'll happen in probably 50 or 2060. Probably around that. No, I got that wrong. I got that completely wrong. I got the years wrong. The baby boom will actually happen probably in 2045 or 2045 or around that way, because it repeats, history repeats itself every 50 years and also every 100 years. So in 2045, there'll be another baby boom and they'll eliminate child support in 2045. I may see that day. It could come earlier. They're probably already regulating child support. They'll drop the whole Gerald Ford idea, which was invented. It was invented for the baby busters. Yeah, I was right. Gerald Ford invented that because he was deterring the baby busters from having like 10 children and stuff like that. We're known as the baby buster generation. The baby boom happened in 1945. The war was over. The president, FDR, at the time, I think Truman was somewhere in there too, in the mix. But FDR said, all right, everybody, have babies. And there became a baby boom, which created the hippies. My father is part of that generation, the baby boom. My father's generation, which is my mother's generation too, their children became what's known as the baby busters. In 1974, Gerald Ford created a baby buster law known as the Deadbeat Father Act, or the Deadbeat Parent, the Deadbeat Parent Act, which is a cruel, cruel law, which will be eliminated, and the child support laws, saying that if you're going to go out there and have children, because for one thing, you can't have too much stress in your life.
Approaching a railroad crossing.
There has been children born during war. There has been children born during war. So this is it's very complex, because I'm a historian. That's what an actor really means. If you look up the definition of actor, it goes back to hypocrite, which also means hypocrite, but also hypocrite means another thing too. If you really look up the definition of hypocrite in Greek, it actually means historian. They're a person that represents another person, which is hypocritical. How can a person represent another person? Well, think of Christianity. Christians represent Christ. We represent Jesus Christ. We are an image of Jesus Christ. We represent him. We are his representative. So in a way, Christians are historians at times, in many cases. In a way, they're kind of actors. Think of one of our best actors, River Phoenix, and Joaquin Phoenix, both big-time Christians from a Christian movement, okay? Let me just go all the way back to Gerald Ford again. It was designed to control procreation. It was the government telling you how many children that you can have. Now, if you have money, then that money is going to go to the government. The government's going to bounce it back to you in income tax return when you have your children. And if you had 10, then your income tax returns probably like $20,000 or something each year. That's going to amount a lot of chances to put things in equities and all kinds of stuff. IRAs opening and all this stuff for kids. Everyone that has 10 children are probably going to be close to a millionaire at one point, because of what each child what their family's worth and what they can bring in revenue only in what the government will give to them. So basically what it boils down to is this. The child support laws are there to create a restriction on procreation. They're basically saying, oh, well, the more children you have, the more that you owe if your wife betrays you, right? It does take the betrayal of the wife. It's the way the wife can control the husband so the husband doesn't start a whole new family because she just can't fess up and either die trying to be a housewife or at least try to be, which is what God wanted for her. She stopped following his call and chose to be Judas Iscariot. So basically it goes back to procreation. That'll stop in 2045, which I may see it in my lifetime. I'm hoping it'll stop even sooner. Sometimes it may, depending on if they see the damage that it's doing. I mean, the pandemic can accelerate the problem because people are still dying from corona, which is probably similar to the Spanish flu in 1912 or I think it was like 1919 or something like that. I have to look up when the Spanish flu, the exact day of the Spanish flu, but that's what was going on 100 years from now. Just like in 2021, we go back 100 years from now, and we can relate the coronavirus with something with the Spanish flu was kind of similar. But anyway, I don't know. You know, I all I know is that it's wrong. You shouldn't try to prohibit a person from starting a whole new family. If the wife doesn't want to have anything to do with them, then you should allow that man to start over and, let him go. And when you cash those checks, Angel, shame on you. There's something I want to say to you, Angel. The last thing, this is about 7 minutes. I didn't do a lot of vlogging today, but there's something I want to say to you, Angel. Before I left Kroger, whenever I was working in the bank at First Convenience, I was working inside Kroger, I thought about you one time. There was a lady I saw. She was an older lady, and she was walking, doing her shopping, and her head was hanged very low. She was in shame because she had done something wrong. And she was by herself, and her head hung very low, and she was very old. When you follow the path of the devil, when you get to be an older lady, your head will hang very low out of shame. I know that you have Jesus Christ, just as I do. But he does not want you to do this to me. And I do not want you to live in shame if something were to happen to me because of these choices that you've made and that you won't renege on, that you won't go back on, no matter what. It's not out of your hands. You sent a message to me one time about the whole child support thing. You said, it's out of my hands. It's never out of your hands. You can stop it at any moment. And let me tell you something, Angel, whether you're part of the Me Too movement, because I'm part of the Men Too movement, but if you're part of the Me Too movement, you can also set an example for them by being respectful, not only to your ex-husband or the man, the father of your children, but respectful to God and doing what God would do. Ask yourself this, Angel, would Jesus Christ cash those child support checks? Ask yourself that. I am willing to get with you anytime and try to provide what you need directly. If you'll communicate with me and talk with me and stop living in a shell, and also stop ignoring people, even ignoring people in the church, because I know that you are. Stop ignoring it. God does not want that. It says in the Bible that the government would be on his shoulders. Do not choose the side of Judas Iscariot. And that goes for all women that are like her. Do not do this any longer. If you stop it, many others will stop, and it'll free many men that are struggling with this. You could set an example and change things. Remember how you said when you wanted to write that book, the book that you wanted to write, Never a Dull Moment? This could be a chapter in that book that makes a big difference. I've decided not to hurt Cole anymore. The father of those three beautiful children. You have the opportunity to do that. ask yourself, would Jesus Christ want you to follow the path that you're following? You have to ask yourself that question. Remember, he said you have to choose God or money. When you go to the bank, or if that's going through direct deposit, and get with your mother to find out, because if your mother's doing it, she's in danger too, because there are false cases where other relatives have cashed these checks or have had them go in direct deposit into their account. I know you share an account with her. Make sure that she's not doing that, right? Make sure that Denise is not having that go in her account without your knowledge. Find out. You have access to that bank. You can stop that. So if she's having that go into her account so she can benefit from it, find out if that's what you're doing. Because I have a feeling that you stopped with these payments. I just have a feeling. I guess God is talking to me. I think you've stopped it, but I don't know if Denise has. So find out. Look at her account. Look through what's going in her account and see if there's child support going into her account, and if she's acting like that she's you, Angel. See if there's fraud going on, because I've read about it recently that there is fraud cases when it comes to child support. Find out that and have her stopped. Because if that's the case and it's investigated, then that means that she could get into serious trouble if she's having that go into her account still, and if you've had it stopped. Because you don't have to continuously file a case on child support. You can stop it, but make sure that it's not still flowing through there, because it's a systematic thing. You'd have to check her account to see. But if you are doing it, my suggestion is just get with me, and I'll find a way to make sure that you get the amount of money that you need, the amount of money that you really need each month. I can send it through you any way you'd like. Because going through the government is the wrong avenue. You can ask any member of the church that I'm willing to work with you if you're willing to work with me. All right, that's 12 minutes. I got to pick up this McDonald's and drop it off at someone's door. But please, if you have stopped with the child support checks, or if you've stopped with the direct deposit and it's going into your mother's account because y'all share an account, please have her stop that. Because regardless of how, she's on Section 8 and things like that, they still could reinvestigate that. And it's a way that she could lose some of the privileges that she has with Section 8. Because I know that she's meaning she's part of Section 8 and stuff like that. And she could lose those privileges if she's not telling the truth about some of these child support stuff. Because I got some information in the mail, and it's not a small sum. Okay? So I know there's been use that you've been digging in that well, and that's the wrong way. That's not what God wants you to do at all. You can ask any man in the church, any member of the church, any godly man in the church. They would tell you to stop doing that immediately, get in touch with me, or have the church get in touch with me, or make arrangements where I can pay you personally. We can do this in a private way and keep the government out of it, especially the federal government out of it. That's a request I have to you. I think it's a request that was put in my heart from God. And I think this is your chance before the church and before Christians, all like Christian Coalition, all the Christians would agree with me on this, that this is your chance to do the right thing before it gets too out of hand, because it's getting really bad for me. It's getting very, very, very difficult. I no longer live in a place where it's easy to live. All the dreams and desires of what your mother wanted for me is coming true before her time has come. And that's fine. I understand that she wants revenge. Regardless, to let you know, those children are still here. Okay? Please reconsider, because I am the father of those kids, and I know they want to see me one day. And if it's God's will, it will happen. I can promise you.